Welcome to Medica Nova Wellness Studio. I'm Dr. Angelika Maria Koch with the educational videos about optimal health and the most innovative and holistic approach to your well-being. Today I want to share with you some inspiring information how to heal neck pain with the most natural and effective therapeutic tools. Now lately myself, I experienced some excruciating neck pain, even accompanied with symptoms of vertigo, nausea and tons of headaches. Not a great experience after all, but I also learned a lot about it and how to shift this painful situation without spending an extraordinary amount of money and time on spinal realignments, chiropractic, laser treatments and possible surgery. Of course, I contacted my colleagues in the naturopathic and chiropractic field as well, but I didn't have lasting results. And I think life wanted me to learn all about it and find the best protocols for you, which I can share in this video, and I will. Before we go on, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel, share and like it with your friends and family, and have a look at my website, medicanova.net, at the online academy, where you will find comprehensive home study online courses in homeopathy, quantum healing, health coaching, so much information for you there. And if you're interested in a personal health consultation, either for yourself or your children, contact me at health@medicanova.net. Let's talk a little bit about the neck in itself before we go into the remedies. The neck is made up of vertebrae that extends from the skull to the upper torso. We also have cervical discs, which absorb the shock between the bones. I put an image up here for your understanding. As well as the bones and the ligaments and the muscle which hold up and support the head and allow motion. So any abnormalities or inflammatory conditions or even injuries can cause neck pain. But what are the most common causes? Well, fast, usually repetitive movements of the cervical spine, such as during exercise or lifting objects around the house, driving or jerking the neck. Maybe you had a rear-end automobile accident, but most of all, it's muscle strains around the neck and the shoulders, and of course caused by poor posture that affect the cervical spine. Working, holding the neck in an abnormal position. Maybe you have your cell phone tucked between your head and your shoulder and do something else with your hand. That could cause it. Exercising, straining, even bad posture during your sleep. But there can be also underlying, cervical problems like a bulging or herniated disc, cervical degenerated disc where the disc dries out because of age, wear and tear, osteoarthritis. We have spinal stenosis and even bone spurs, which are sort of calcified formations which sort of press on the branching nerves maybe and the spinal cord. In my case, I had that. I had a squeezed and trapped nerve there, really painful. But I can't emphasize more the emotional aspect here, which adds to the stiff neck and the tensed muscle. High levels of stress and anxiety, causes the increased muscle tension and inflammation, and even just stressing over the pain makes it worse. Poor sleep, in general lack of rest. I also would say if you have a sedentary lifestyle, sitting too many hours on the computer like I did, poor diet, maybe smoking, toxin exposure, all that can cause it. In my case, actually, in 2018, the last 3-4 months, I was working on a deadline to create a university online course and health coaching, and it just really killed me. I was working day and night on it, sitting on the computer way too long, and really had a whole story of emotions attached to them, with anxiety and stress and not being able to meet the deadline and so on. And there it came, right, the stiff neck, and really, really painful. I would say also if you have an inflammatory response like torticollis, where you have now a situation where you literally have your head like this and you can't keep it straight, that could be a cause. And it goes maybe into neurological diseases. Of course, by then you need an X-ray and MRIs. But I give you some remedies for that as well, even in this video. And as I said, not to mention if you have a rear and order collision. Now, poor posture affects how the spine and the neck muscles work. Straining the neck muscles is by far, as I said, the most common cause of a stiff neck. Neck pain often develops from pulling certain muscles abruptly. There can be soft tissue sprains involved, slouching and injuries, and it's called the levator scapular muscle. It's a thin muscle located at the back and the side of the neck, just below the upper part of the trapezius. I put an image up here for you as well. So this levator scapular muscle is responsible for connecting the upper part of the shoulders to the top of the cervical spine. And here we also have these nerves, they're called C3 and C4. But this muscle helps rotate the head from side to side and front to back, and also, helps to raise and lift or lower the shoulders. So poor posture, hunching and slouching is one of the leading contributors to sprains and strains in the muscles around the neck. We call it the forward head posture. Put an image up here as well. And that happens if you sit too long on the computer, or if you have sort of heavy, use handheld devices. It could be, for example, a cell phone even, portable video games, laptops, tablets, e-readers, because you always look a little bit downwards and therefore you sort of strain the neck muscles. I actually started elevating my laptop, right? So I don't look like this. I look more like I look into the camera from eye to eye level. That helped a lot. Stress raises inflammatory conditions and muscle tensions here. The levator scapular muscle raises the shoulders and works sort of statically in times of stress, since the shoulders therefore respond to emotional and physical tension, increasing therefore the straining on the neck. So neck pain, stiffness or tension can follow an episode where you're nervous, where you have anxiety, there's fear, there's fatigue, and there is definitely elevated stress. In fact, studies show that stiff necks and shoulders are major somatic complaints among hardworking, chronically stressed adults. And definitely, I'm a type A person. I work a lot, and makes perfect sense. So apart from your hot and cold ice packs, heat-producing creams and gels, physiotherapy, massages, yoga neck exercises, the best asanas in the world, adjusting your posture. You also want to add some supplements here into your daily regime, and I would suggest omega-3, 6 and 9. You want to crank up on your calcium, particular magnesium supplement, vitamin E and A, vitamin B12, glucosamine maybe a little bit. And the point on the occiput all the way down the spine is related to acupuncture in the Chinese elements science to the water element. And the water element has a lot to do with fear of the future, fear of money, existential fears. So when you go to your acupuncturist, you maybe want to suggest to get a Chinese water element supplement as well to support this meridian. I broke through this whole thing after truly months of dealing with this with homeopathic remedies. That was the final breakthrough for me, and also looking at my story, right? What stresses me out, and make certain adjustments. As in all in my prior videos today, the same thing. I only will share with you homeopathic remedies which you can purchase in your local health food store and or online. Homeopathy, offers nearly 4,000 remedies, and of course there's much more to offer. But just for the simple understanding and for this purpose of this video, let's keep it, I don't want to confuse you. I also don't want to shy you away from using these remedies. You go to a health food store and you see this box of remedies, and lo and behold, most of the time the staff who works there really isn't educated in how to use these remedies. You stand there and say, I have no idea what to do here, right? I know she said something, but I want to really guide you here. Simple instructions which work. So the first remedy is called RHUS-TOXicodendron, or you will find it in the health food store under RHUS-TOX. There's a number behind, usually 6 or 30, which is the potency. That's the potency usually is allowed over the counter. And here I would say 30. Fantastic and most effective remedy for neck pain with stiffness. The neck pain comes, as I said, from overlifting, overuse, from strain, injury to the neck muscles, even sleeping in the wrong position. Now here, in general with all homeopathic remedies, look out for the specific keynote. When you recognize that and you get the remedy, boom, the magic happens. In this case, you wake up in the morning and your neck is stiff. That's the main thing. And the first feeling is really painful, but as you go, bob along during the day or have your breakfast, it eases up. So continued movement makes it better. The first movement is really difficult, even your neck is very stiff. You maybe even have sort of pains between your scapula, particularly on swallowing. That is RHUS-TOX. On an emotional level, if when you feel like you're stuck in life and you want to move forward, but something is seemingly holding you back, you can't move forward or through. Maybe it's a bad marriage. Maybe it's a job you hate. You could get stiff neck muscles, right? That's the story behind RHUS-TOX. On the contrary, if you have symptoms where any movement makes it worse, right? It's just stiff and whatever you do, any movement makes it worse, but resting, putting a hot water bottle or ice pack on it makes it a little bit better. Then go into BRYONIA 30. And here the emotional factor is finances, right? We have the tax season coming up. Everyone is a bit stressed. But with BRYONIA is maybe the business wasn't so good. Maybe you lost some money. And now you have to really work hard to make it up. Or you feel like, oh my God, I fear poverty. What's going to happen? I cannot pay the bills. You maybe think about home all the time. I want to go home. Where's home? That's BRYONIA. That can cause you a stiff neck. So think about that. In this case, 1 tablet 3 times a day for 10 days. And then back off and see how it works. You maybe want to repeat it when the symptoms maybe come back, or you have another reason for it. But if you're in doubt, always contact me at health@medicanova.net or your practitioner. If it's caused just by an injury or fall or blow, maybe you had a ski accident, overstraining the neck muscles, as I said, exercise, lifting, the neck is really sore and aches, you want to think about ARNICA montana. And here the muscles feel very weak and the head also falls backwards on any side. The cervical vertebrae are just very tender. Often used, for work accidents, and I would say 1 tablet every 2 to 3 hours here for 3 or 4 days. You maybe want to start with ARNICA montana first, if you know it's caused by overlifting only. And if that doesn't work, then you go into RHUS-TOX or BRYONIA. Now let's go a little bit deeper. This remedy you maybe have to get online. It's called ACTEA RACEMOSA 30. And ACTEA RACEMOSA is another excellent remedy for neck pain with marked stiffness, but here you have maybe a little rheumatic pain, osteoarthritis. And here the neck pain is worse from pressure, like you press it on or you have a massage on it and it almost makes you nausea and you want to retch. That's this remedy. So due to the neck pain, the head is drawn back, you feel like this. And as I said, it's a great remedy for cervical spondylitis, which I explain a little bit later on in this video. Of course, it's better for worms, worse for cold applications. But that's a good remedy when you have this nausea involved, retching, but also a little bit rheumatic pain. If the stiff neck and the muscle pain is caused by exposure to cold, or you were exposed to wet, like a rainfall, or anything cold, like environmental cold, temperature cold, in the winter, or you were driving in the car and have a cold wind hitting your neck, think about DULCAMARA 30. Fantastic remedy here. Now, if you suffer or were diagnosed with torticollis, right, which is really where you're like this and you can't put your head straight anymore, it's an inflammatory situation, go and get the remedy LATIFOLIA 30. Is really, really top remedy for here. Stiffness of the neck. Again, the head is drawn to one side and the pain in the nape of the lower part of the neck feels as if it's dislocated, right? So it's a great remedy for torticollis. I would say 3 times a day for 10 days, see how it goes. So in my case, also, I had vertigo, which I mentioned before, which was really, really difficult to handle. Even thought about maybe there's something wrong with my head. But there is a homeopathic remedy which really works very well here. If you have pain in the neck, especially in the upper sternocleidomastoid muscles, and the neck feels bruised, unable to hold the neck even, and you have this occipital headaches with vertigo, think about GELSEMIUM 30. It's a great remedy, helped me tremendously here. There may be even a chilliness up and down the back. Now, on an emotional level, you maybe have received bad news, or there is a lot of anxiety of anticipation that could have caused it, right? So there's always an emotional factor behind your tensed muscles here. So, and I'm gonna give you the story so you can recognize it. You won't get that with any doctor out there who really recognizes where you're stuck, right? And then really gives you the right information and the right tools to open up and break through these limiting knots and energy blocks within your body. Now, the next remedy is called GUAIACUM 30. Again, neck pain and stiffness. But here we have the pain from the head to the neck. There's an aching nape and a stiff neck and sore shoulders. And here you also have stitches between the scapula to the occiput. Now in the beginning, I had electrical shocks going from my left shoulder into the left occiput. And that was really painful. And by the third one, I knew this is not good. What's happening here? GUAIACUM is a fantastic remedy if you have this sort of electrical shock-like experience. It means the nerve is trapped, right? Something isn't working here. And also you have contracted pain between the scapula. Again, often a one-sided stiffness of the back from the neck and can even go down the sacrum. GUAIACUM is great. Not too uncommon, people say the pain is extending from the neck to my arms and the fingers. And it goes to the ulnar nape, and here we have the third and the fourth finger involved. You have a sort of a numbness, a pricking, sense of coldness in the arms even. The neck and the sore is very sore, there's tender to touch, definitely worse for motion and at night. The remedy is KALMIA LATIFOLIA 30. Specific when you have the pain now extending into your arms and fingers, and when you have this numbness and pricking going along, that's where they usually suggest surgery. So try the KALMIA first. You maybe don't need the surgery. So if you have a cracking in your cervical vertebrae, especially on bending backward, where you have this stiffness in the neck or the back and sensation as if the vertebrae are gliding over each other, particularly when you turn in the bed, think about sulphur 200. I have taken 1 tablet every day for 3-4 days and then went into the other remedies as I required it. That helped me a lot as well. I also had an impinged nerve, and that was very painful. And I took HYPERICUM 200, 1 tablet every day for 3 or 4 days, and that immediately relieved the nerve pain, and then I could go on with the other remedies. Now, cervical spondylitis, right? It's a general term for age-related wear and tear affecting the spinal discs in your neck. Now, as the discs dehydrate, right, they shrink and There's signs maybe of osteoarthritis. There can be bony projections, what I told you about these bone spurs, which, really press on the radiating or branching nerves. Then it's more of a chronic condition. And I didn't know it's very common, particularly it worsens with age. They say in the study about 85% of people older than age 60 are affected by cervical spondylitis. Now, most people experience no symptoms from these problems, but when symptoms occur, non-surgical treatments here can be very effective, especially with homeopathic remedies. Causes could be a herniated or dried up disc, can be a bone spur or stiff ligaments. Now the symptoms here are more the tingling and the numbness and the weakness in your hands and arms and legs and feet, a lack of coordination and difficulty in walking, and don't forget the loss of bladder and bowel control, because in acupuncture it's the bladder meridian which is affected here. I'm going to give you a great remedy for that as well. So with cervical spondylitis, I would say the first remedy is phosphoric acid. 30, you get that in the health food store. It's one of the top remedies here, and you almost have this paralytic weakness along the spine. There may be formication bone spur along the spine as well, boring pain between the scapula. Almost you feel like your back and your limbs feel as if they're beaten. The remedy here, the emotional factor, has a lot to do with deep sorrow and grief when life becomes dull and without any pleasure. You feel like I have no spark anymore, right? Think about phosphoric acid. Another remedy is called CIMICIFUGA RACEMOSA 30. Really effective for cervical spondylitis. In here we have a stiffness, contraction in the neck muscles causing the stiff neck. And almost you feel like throwing the head backwards. Spine is very sensitive, especially in the upper part, but it's mostly on the left angle of the scapula. Right? The left shoulder is more affected. Here the mental and emotional symptoms can be like too many things to cope in one day, and you feel like all fragmented, almost to the point of a little hysteria coming up. Right? That could be that remedy. As I said, RHUS-TOX, perfect remedy as well, as I mentioned, with just common symptom of stiff neck. Again, when it happens in the morning, you wake up stiff neck, and the emotional factor is like, I want to move on and something is stopping me in life. The last remedy I want to share with you is CAUSTICUM 30. Very important here. We have a dull pain in the nape of the neck, stiffness again. Stiffness is throughout, right? But everyone experiences it in a different way. Rising from a chair, very difficult, could scarcely move your head. Again, cervical spondylitis with uncontrollable frequent urination. Here the bladder meridian is affected. So if you see that, if you feel like, God, any coughing or sneezing, I pee my pants, what's going on? And you have a stiff neck and tense muscle, think about CAUSTICUM. What's the emotional factor here? Well, it's about life is not fair, or somebody has treated you unjustly. Or maybe you're concerned about the political or worldly topics reflecting our current deep-seated injustice at large. Something which is not fair in your life, right, could cause you to tense up the muscles. Again, with cervical spondylitis, you can use the same remedies as mentioned with the common neck pains too, but just look out for the specific keynotes. Now, let's look a little bit about the metaphysical situation here and the emotional impact. Neck pain can truly be a pain in the neck. And God, did I feel that. So ask yourself, who or which situation causes me pain in the neck? Why am I so rigid? I can't turn my head, even in my thinking patterns. What makes me tense up so much in my life? Why not add a positive affirmation into your life when you feel that? I would say it is with flexibility and ease that I see all sides of an issue. There are endless ways of doing things and seeing things. I'm safe. You may feel that you have lack of emotional support, feeling unloved, or holding back your love. If that sounds familiar, why not change your language to I love and approve of myself. Life supports me and it loves me. And hey, maybe it's not as complicated as what I just shared with you. Maybe you just need a new office chair. So in my recent Facebook post, I wrote, you and we can be heroes. I want to share that with you. Each and every day, I'm blessed to witness the seemingly healing miracles of patient students, and most of all within myself. Yet healing is not a miracle. In fact, it is simple yet complex. To truly heal, you have to be willing to face it all, invite it, accept it, love it, and then transform it. In my world, the power of homeopathy, integrated medicine, prayers and meditation, and all their acquired therapeutic tools obviously are my best friends. Yet the true breakthrough happens when you dare to go to the very core, to the very source of pain, the place where the breakthrough energy resides, the place of uncharted territory within. And then, my dear friends, I can tell you, it feels so amazing, yes, when the physical aches and pains and emotional wounds literally disperse into nothingness, gifting you with your hero within. And I leave you with that. May you lighten the weight of your shoulders and break through your own limitations. Much love and take care for you today. See you next time.